Let's move to al-Hawa now. al-Hawa is basically downtown Gaza City. It's the downtown core of the Gaza Strip. If we look at map number 9 here, you can see it. It's beside Ramal. It attaches to Ramal, which is the commercial downtown hub of the Gaza Strip. And it's been basically erased. But you can see al-Hawa abuts the Netzarim corridor. And so it was the 99th Division that raided al-Hawa. This operation began on July the 8th and wrapped up on this weekend. And you can see we've updated this map because the pier is gone and the pier is not coming back. So that farce has ended, $300 million farce. That it's not just about the money, though. It's about the way that it was used to buttress the ceiling of the other border crossings, which could bring in aid at far higher amounts than the pier ever could. In any case, we'll move on from the pier. But al-Hawa was given an evacuation notice. Again, a massacre, then an evacuation notice. The evacuation notice was on July 8th, and the war began in this area right away. Again, the resistance is able to meet the Israelis at any place they arrive. So this is al-Hawa. Let's look at number 10, Tamara. So this is them again with eyes on, this appears to be drone footage with eyes on the Israelis. You can see them moving through the corridor there. That's from the Netzarim corridor up. And then we're going to see the use here. We see a Merkava tank and a D9 armored bulldozer. Now we see Qassam fighters wiring up Israeli anti-tank mines, American Israeli anti-tank mines that the Israelis use for house demolitions. The Palestinian resistance is rewiring, repurposing it here, and about to hit 2 D9 armored bulldozers, which are less armored than any of the other armored vehicles, and has got to be the worst assignment for the Israeli military. The short straw, definitely, is the bulldozer drivers. You can see the 2 there are hit with anti-tank mines. And the fighter says, "We tell you, O Netanyahu, by God, we will prepare for you various forms of death, which will make you curse yourselves for ever thinking of entering Gaza. Advance, advance. We have more in store for you," the fighter says on the audio that we have removed. So that's significant operation. And again, repurposing of Israeli munitions. And this is something that I'll dig into more on the next week's show. But we've been talking about it the whole time through this war. There's significant unexploded ordnance throughout Gaza, which is deadly to civilians, but is a boon to the military-industrial complex in Gaza, which repurposes these weapons. And here you can see a stack of anti-tank mines being used against these 2 armored bulldozers. So American mines, anti-tank mines being used against American bulldozers from Peoria, Illinois, Caterpillar bulldozers, and Israeli mines that are American mines being used against the Israeli up-armoring of the Caterpillar bulldozer. So let's look at number 11 here, Tamara, because this is an interesting one. This is a Qassam sniper video. You see the al-Ghul sniper rifle, and just you can see the Israeli forces there moving. You can see the round he's holding in his hand there, just to give you an idea of what these al-Ghul rounds look like in the hand of a sturdy fighter. And he says, this fighter says, "I've been looking for Netanyahu's son, Yair, for a while now to put a bullet in him. I search in vain. He won't send his own son into this hell. Instead, he sent these idiots to their deaths." And again, we edited this out, but that was not a miss by this al-Ghul sniper. And then we see the medevac of the soldier whose death or injury was not claimed by the Israelis on their official count list. So that's an interesting operation, looking for Yair Netanyahu, who is, of course, in the news in Israel in the last week. So again, the fighters are interacting with updated news stories. They're constantly communicating with their propaganda. They're constantly communicating with their population. They're communicating with their leadership and historic leadership, something that we've seen all throughout the war. Continuing, still no sign of, no end in sight for any of that. So number 12 here, Again, eyes all over the movement. There's a soldier carrying a Matador anti-tank weapon that they use. That's the weapon that the Israelis use against houses here. And this is a television strike, an IED, a Qassam-built IED that's placed there to hit that dismounted crew. And then again, soldier in a window, exposing his position, and he's going to get hit here. You can see, again, commanders briefing their fighters, planning the objective, talking about what weapons to use, and again, deploying the two correct weapons for this situation. This is an F7 fragmentation warhead. Again, it has the distance to hit, and when it hits, it explodes in tiny shards. It's a devastating weapon. Again, you can see perfectly accurate. Again, no casualties from the Israelis. So I'll let the listeners and viewers decide what's going on with that, because we've been tracking it all throughout the war and none of the numbers add up. So that's number 12. Number 13, again, another commander controlled ambush here. Detailed ambush. That on the wall says the Qassam Brigades are hell on invaders. You can see them wiring up here. The fighters are wiring up Qassam built anti-personnel IEDs. So that's different than the Shawad that's used against the tank. These are anti-troop weapons. And you can see they're placed in two positions, one on the upper floor and then one on the lower floor, that predicts the exit route from the first blast. So the fighters are planning, the commanders are planning this operation. We're going to watch here the tank pull cover onto the street here, and the Qassam Brigades are just watching it on TV. The commanders watching this whole operation on TV. They're communicating with closed lines. They're going to give you a 10 red triangles here to show you each of the troops that are moving across the street here, walking right into the blast. And then the second part of this operation is to predict where the reinforcements will go from this initial blast. So a blast on the upper floor that's aimed down, the television, they call it a television bomb. It's an anti-personnel bomb that would be aimed down and blast into straight ahead, rather than a circular blast. And you can see them there with the stretchers evacuating the wounded. But this operation is multi-pronged. It's a command and control operation, pre-planned ambush, preset ambush. And there it is. They predict exactly where the soldiers are going to run to. And so they run right into a Radia, which is also a Qassam-built weapon. And you can see them. Again, Qassam has eyes on multiple spots. So Tel al-Hawa didn't know there was going to be an invasion of Tel al-Hawa. And the second they move in, they get hit by these pre-planned operations, something that we saw in Shujaiya as well. Just really well-planned operation. And the selection, you can see that they predict exactly where the forces will flee to, which is something we've seen in many operations. And it's a key part of the way that Qassam plans these ambushes, is to predict the route of the exit route or the entrance route of the reinforcements, as we saw in the Beit Hanun ambush, or in the Khan Yunis Night of Power ambush, where they predicted 5 routes in that ambush and got all of them right. And all of those Israeli soldiers walked into ambushes as part of the original ambush. And so we're seeing that again in Tel al-Hawa. We're seeing that on the days that the operation begins. It doesn't take a 2-month operation before this is cooked up. They have this operation ready to go the moment they Israelis invade. And this is in an area that has been completely devastated. Ramal and Tel al-Hawa have just been erased. The downtown commercial core, the telecommunications, the aid, the international companies, the universities, all downtown, all wiped out completely by the Israelis throughout the course of this operations. And we will remember back in October 8th, 7th, 8th, 9th, they went right at Tel al-Hawa and Al Ramal, the main downtown commercial areas. That was the first place that they hit after the October 7th operation that dismantled the Gaza division. So that's Tel al-Hawa.
Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit like, leave a comment. these engagements help us with the YouTube algorithm, and it helps us to get around Silicon Valley censorship as much as possible. It does make a difference. You can also support our journalism by going to electronicintifada.net and clicking on donate now. Thank you.